All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. Like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
Swear to Christ, if they go ahead and flag me or block me for this shit, I'm going to be really, really pissed off. This is downloaded from the non-copywritten background stupid-ass music that I went ahead and did. So if they black flag me for this, there you go. Visually, there's my impairment right there. What's up, everybody? Good morning, and welcome to the show. It's the Touchdown Crew. Week number friggin' whatever the hell it is. What is it, week 8? Yeah, there we go. What's going on? We got Mike to the right, Coach to the bottom. He's underneath me today. Because you know why? Because I have overthrown him in the top spot in our weekly pick'ems. That's right. This is how it works. It's Coach and Charles, and Mike he's on the tail end. But it's okay. It's only one game out. Plenty games to go. It's okay. Coach has been treading. He's been hemorrhaging like he's giving birth. It's all coming out. I mean, it's just he had the baby, and then he's losing the baby. So it's Mike, how does it feel to lose the baby?
Me? I never had the baby.
Oh, excuse me, Coach. Coach had the baby. I'm sorry, Mike. You just got the Bears thing going on, man, and we got Fat Mike coming on a little bit later on the show. So I'm all Mike here. Usually, Coach is up there somewhere. I don't know. I don't know how the hell you got up there, but anyway.
I don't know. I'm
Coach. How do you feel about losing the baby?
What's the record? Are we tied or are you up one?
Technically,
no, we're tied.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We're tied. Mike is down one.
Okay, so we're sharing right now.
We're sharing the baby. We're sharing custody 50-50.
Hey, it's all good. It's like that sometimes.
but this week, I'm taking you to court, and I'm getting full custody.
Okay.
I'm just saying. That's how it is. So right now, my notes are all over the place because we had a little come to Jesus moment with Freddie and Ray about this thing where I'm getting black flagged and everything. Like I'm like a roach crawling across the kitchen table, and somebody just went ahead and took the spray and just like, we don't want his ass on the show. So fine, whatever. Do what you need to do. But I'm here. That's all you gotta say. And as I'm rambling on, I'm looking for the stupid scores, which I had it on the touchdown. By the way, let's just bring it right up. Thursday Night Football is like the game of the century. Let's put it that way. It was the game not to miss. It came down right to the last, oops, my controller lost power and I forgot to turn around moment. I mean, literally, Arizona driving down the field. Kyler Murray said, the hell with a field goal. I want to win this bitch. Driving down the field goal, had A.J. Green in the corner. Dude, turn around! He didn't. And that was game time. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers go ahead and beat the Cardinals for their first loss of the year. I can't find the stupid notes. Anyway, but give me your reaction on that, because I was sitting right there. I'm thinking, yeah, Coach is going to lose. Coach is going to lose. And Aaron Murray was he was like, no, not yet. Hold on. I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to show you what I got. I'm going to show you what I got. He did it. AJ didn't. How, if you're AJ Green, Coach, how do you feel on the next day, Friday?
Well, To be honest with you, we was texting back and forth. What I say? I said they're gonna lose this game on that last drive when they was driving the field. I said they're gonna blow it.
Even driving the field, you really thought that.
I texted to you. I said, hey, they're gonna.
You really thought that. That wasn't something that you were just trying to make me feel good. You were tickling my ass. You actually thought that's what was really going to happen.
Yes, I really, really thought that was gonna happen. One, because D-Hop was out. Right. And then so I figured everything, because now you pretty much got to move people around to play positions that they're not used to playing. And then he got hurt like 2 throws before that. So a lot of it, I mean, I just truly think that it was a misunderstanding. They called one play in the huddle, but they saw a different coverage, and he never signaled or checked out of it. Because usually, probably in that situation, that's probably D-Hop over there on the island by itself.
And D-Hop at least is going to turn around. His controller's not going to run out of battery. Reset. No, he's going to turn around.
I don't understand what was Charles, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like over 4th and 10. So why he thought in any world that he'd be blocking and that it would be a run, especially with how hurt Kyler was. I was shocked. And I'll tell you this, Larry Fitzgerald would have turned around. So that's he might not have caught it, but I mean,
Kyler was playing on a flat tire at that point in time. He was like, right. Listen, I'm not going to be able to, this is going to be on my arm.
The way I looked at it, bro, and I'm going to come across as disrespectful, obviously, because I'm wearing Bears colors, but it's just the cold, hard truth. Green Bay is, and it's not saying they're not talented and what they don't do is successful, but they are one of the luckiest teams in a sense of guys step up in those moments. Like Douglas was just on that Cardinals team 4 weeks ago and not any part of that defense, and now he gets the game-winning interception. It was a dope thing to watch, especially for someone like Douglas. But I will not go out here and say, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers won you that game." Again,
no. Oh my God!
No. I'm reading the comments, and Freddie's saying, "Be respectful."
No. Screw Freddie. Screw him.
Yeah,
no, he. Okay, listen. Number one, I will give Aaron Rodgers all the credit if you take that 4th and 1, which, by the way, he scored that touchdown.
Right.
Aaron Jones scored that touchdown. They screwed him. That's hometown refereeing right there. But you take Aaron Rodgers, if you're rolling out, you get batted right there, 1-on-1. You mean to tell me you couldn't place that ball any better than you did? I ain't giving Rodgers shit. There's no way. There's no way.
I looked at it like that, and I was like,
Jones 3 more times, and if he don't, that's on him and your line.
Right.
That's
I've been really happy with AJ Dillon. I thought it was a risky pick. I think taking a running back in the 2nd round, especially when you know you're going to pay Aaron Jones, which they did, is always something you really need to take into consideration. Like, did we waste that pick? And I feel like Aaron at the time probably thought, man, like you could have got me another wide receiver. Please call him, bro. Because
you know what? It's not even doing you justice. I'm just going to go ahead and block you. That's the thing that's going on here.
But yeah, I really like AJ Dillon. I definitely think that's why personally to me, you don't pay running backs. You really don't, unless his name is Alvin Kamara. I'm not paying that man. It's just the cold hard truth.
Yeah, and listen, if we want to go ahead, let's take another little side note. Green Bay without Devontae Adams still doing what they did.
And Lazard.
Come on now. What's that?
And Lazard too.
And Lazard, yeah. So they were down 2 men.
I will say this, and we did talk about it on Real Talk. You know, they were saying, oh, Aaron Rodgers was doing this and that, and he was getting every single wide receiver an opportunity. He really wasn't. At the end of the day, the leading receiver on that team was Aaron Jones, and the second one was his tight end that he's played with for 2-3 years now. So he definitely did still go to his guys that he trusts, but Aaron did play a great game with a lot less weapons, and I do give him credit for that. But this hasn't just been the Aaron Rodgers we all know. I think the biggest thing with this Aaron Rodgers to me is not that he's trying to just finish the season healthy, but he's just trying to get the win. And I look at it from that perspective is he doesn't care if he's throwing over 200 yards as long as he's doing everything he needs to do. And I think in the playoffs, you might actually see a different Aaron Rodgers. You might see a guy who's airing it out over 350 yards because he's just been waiting for that all season. So I like what they're doing. Yeah, I like what they're doing a lot. You see, we got
somebody wanting to call in. I wonder who this possibly could be. Go ahead and identify yourself. Who is got the nerve to call my show?
I know exactly who it is. I know exactly who it is. I mean, Coach and Mike coming on this show, coming with this disrespect of A-Rod. We've seen Coach. We've seen quarterbacks who could not accept being a game manager quarterback but make plays down the fourth quarter, a.k.a. Jimmy Garoppolo in the playoffs. But now we want to discredit Aaron Rodgers from following the game plan from his coach, but in the fourth quarter when he needed to make plays.
Freddie, can I interrupt you for a second?
Make a play in the last
No, wait. Freddie, let me interrupt you for a second. I'm going to go just use a real quick analogy here. Aaron Rodgers goes up for the shot, and it's freaking Hakeem Olajuwon. Boom! Or whoever the hell the guy was. That's pretty much what happened. Aaron Rodgers got stuffed trying to make a slam dunk. So how can you possibly? I'm just saying, how can you possibly go ahead, show Aaron Rodgers some love when, yes, he did play a great game, but it's like when you come down, you are supposed to be the guy. Right. You're supposed to get that ball in the end zone, and you're definitely not supposed to get stuffed at the goal line.
3 of his top receivers out. 3.
Yeah, I get it, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter who was out there. The ball never got past the line of scrimmage.
Freddie, I told you this. Freddie, I told you this on the show, bro. Who won that game, Douglas or Rodgers? It was Douglas.
We talked interception, but I'm not discrediting that though, Mike. What I'm saying is that we want to tear down Jimmy G because and his coach. Because they, instead of going with the run game, they put the ball in Jimmy G's hand to make plays. But when Aaron Rodgers, they was running the ball, and then Matt LaFleur say, Rodgers, hey, fourth quarter, we need you to make some plays. And he made plays, and we want to discredit the man for beating the team that they had no business beating.
Right, but answer me this. Is Jimmy Garoppolo a good quarterback?
Yeah.
No.
Is he an MVP? So that's why I don't tear up Jimmy Garoppolo, because I don't expect him to be good. I don't expect him to make plays. I don't expect him to throw over 300 yards a game. Aaron Rodgers, you expect that, and you are one of those guys who does expect that.
With his top 3, so going in that game without his top 3 receivers, you expected that much.
I've seen Patrick Mahomes do it when Tyreek's out.
See, the thing is that this is what makes great quarterbacks even greater. You take what you got and you work with it.
Right.
Brady did it for 20 years in New England. Now he's got everything handed to him.
And
so
Charles,
wait. In Green Bay, you got a good receiving core. You take what you got and you work with it.
And he did. And we're not giving him credit. You guys are not giving him credit what he deserves.
What more credit do you want? He played a great game.
Right. He played a great game.
When it came down to the clutch, what I'm trying to say is when it came down to the clutch, he didn't get it done.
Okay, well, we need to say he had a great game. And before I leave, I want to give a shout out to Coach. I see my dude up there, the Marshall Mav shirt on. Shout out to Coach.
Yes, sir.
But Charles, I look at it like this too. We always talk about, what weapons does he have? I just watched Lamar Jackson throw over 400 yards with Sammy Watkins as his number 1 wide receiver. So I look at it like that too.
I'm gonna say this.
Let's put it this way: if you had now, you know what this is going to be. This is going to be a really stupid question to ask because Lamar Jackson would just ran in the end zone.
Yeah.
But if you had Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers at the time, both with the same set of wheels as Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so you have to downgrade Lamar Jackson's running ability. Who do you pick in that category to throw the ball?
I mean, I think you look at it and you would probably say Aaron, but at that time you also say if you were to give, Lamar Jackson his actual abilities, then you would definitely say Lamar Jackson because he's been able to throw it and run it this year.
But that's the thing that's what I'm trying to say is you don't want to give him the exact abilities because that's not what Aaron Rodgers has. Who has the better arm? Who has the better sense of direction on that? I say Aaron.
Of course.
Dude, so whatever he did really shocked me because it's like, I take a look at Aaron Rodgers, and when you throw that ball, 99 times out of 100, that thing's not getting tipped. That thing's not getting touched. You could have all your arms being up there. It's going right between the arms because he is that accurate.
Right.
That shocked me.
Well, the thing is, I'm gonna give credit to and I said it to the head coach. He had a great game plan.
Yeah.
It was a simple, easy read. They know they really couldn't go vertical, just for the simple fact of the matter, your two top vertical threats are out of the game.
A lot of quick catches. Yep.
So I like what he did on that situation. Now, the goal line play, the issue was they done ran it way too many times because they ran the little pick screen. He had to throw it low because the guy was on the dude's hip pocket, because there was nowhere else to throw the ball. Because if you would have threw it high, he wouldn't have catch it because the guy was like right there because he sat on it. So it was
what
a
do you
bad.
think he should have done? I mean, so not running the ball, but do you think that rollout was the best call, or do you see something different? Maybe
They was trying to give it to a three-way go, pretty much where he could roll out. If it's there, he can run it. If his first read was the out, they jumped the out. Then it went to the pick. It wasn't there. So it was a three-way go because he couldn't run it because the backer was right there waiting on him, and he wasn't going to run through the backer. So,
right.
So it was just a terrible play call at that moment of what they was trying to do. I mean, you could go anyway and just say, hey, you should probably just ran the ball in with the running back because, I mean, they ran for over 100, 150 some yards combined. So
yeah,
I just think
running game. It was a great running day.
Yeah, I just think they just took advantage of what the Cardinals couldn't stop. They couldn't stop the run. So since you couldn't stop the run, you went into a man. You brought a safety in the middle. Then guess what? Now we're just gonna throw a screen either to the running back or to the tight end. We'll go trips to the left, boom, block man on, send the tight end to the flats. Then we'll send everybody vertical, run the flare running back if you were in the zone because you have to go with the receivers. So it was a smart, simple, easy plan that Cardinals couldn't adjust because you couldn't stop the run. So I think. So he did, like I said, Aaron Rodgers did his thing. He did what he was supposed to do. He made the right reads.
You don't give credit to a player that's already done it as many times as Aaron Rodgers did. Because you know what? Up until that interception in the end zone at the final ticks of the game was not won. You're down at the 1 yard line. You got to get that ball in. You got it. There's no field goal because touchdown wins the game anyway. There's no field goal.
And that's why they went for it 4th and 1 because they knew that we got to get a touchdown to steal this game. Because
and you take a look at both ends. Okay, going for fourth and goal at the 1 yard line. They didn't get it. Cardinals have to now drive down the field goal to tie, which they were in. They were in range. They didn't have to force it in, which is kind of my questioning on the play call down at the other end. Why were they forcing it in?
It wasn't that they was forcing it in. It was, all right, 15 seconds. We have to throw it because we can't run it because we didn't have any timeouts. I think the biggest issue is, like I said, I don't know what the call was going in when they were in the huddle, what they called. And then I don't know if he checked out. I don't even know if AJ Green looked to see if it was a check or did they check with each other and say, hey, we're going to run this. Like I said, I really, truly think that was D-Hop's spot at the beginning.
And so you think if Hopkins was in there, this would have been a touchdown. Arizona wins, they stay undefeated.
Oh, it would have been a touchdown because it was 1-on-1. He was on the island. Because you had, and that's the beauty of what you got with the Cardinals. You had to respect the run game. You had to watch the running back coming out the backfield, plus the 3 receivers on that side. So you zoned it up you zoned it up on the trip side, and you manned it there. And you could have ran anything. You could have ran a slant, which he tried to throw a back shoulder fade because he thought the guy was running the fade. So all he was going to do was just big man the guy, turn around and just catch it. But like I said, the biggest issue was it was just miscommunication. I mean, it was 1-on-1 island.
Mike, with AJ Green out there not having a lot of time with the team, do you think that was the right call?
I think that's to want to win the game, yeah. But to overall play a game of football, I definitely think I would have just took the points. I definitely would have just kicked the field goal. But if you want to win the game, Kyler's banged up. I don't trust James Conner to get you over 15 yards. I don't trust Edmonds to get you 15 yards. And with Kyler, you don't want to exacerbate the injury he already has, and you don't want to risk that. So
Yeah.
I definitely think AJ Green was your best guy out there because of the fact that, you know, D-Hop wasn't there and Larry Fitzgerald still hasn't figured out if he wants to play football or not. I will say if it was Larry or if it was D-Hop, I think it's a touchdown.
Gotcha.
I
Well,
mean,
ladies and gentlemen, I think it's go ahead, Coach. Make
No,
your
I
statement. I'm
think-
going to go ahead and bring
I
Fat Mike
truly
in.
think if he knew if it was a pass 1-on-1, I think I'd take AJ over that guy. AJ because he's a big target.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I said,
If AJ just turned around to look, game over, 8-0 Arizona.
yes, I agree because it was a back shoulder fade. It was a back shoulder fade. He just all he had to do was turn.
That one's gonna sting AJ for a little bit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me go ahead and bring in our guest, our first guest of the Touchdown Crew, all the way in the Windy City. He is the host, part of the 1252 Sports Network in Chicago. Let's welcome in Fat Mike to the program.
What's up,
Hello,
everybody?
Fat Mike. Welcome there.
How we doing, boys? How we
you
doing?
doing?
Thanks for having me
Oh,
on.
doing fantastic. Just ready to go ahead and kick off another great week of NFL. Hey, good news out of Chicago. Matt Nagy is not going to be on the sideline, so I think there's a chance there, right?
Let's see what happens here. We still got Bill Lazor calling plays. We, it's one of those things, man. I'm glad Matt Nagy's not going to be on the sideline this week, overlooking his Denny's menu, flipping pages, acting like he knows what he's doing. But I mean, it's going to be a tough game regardless. San Fran still has a very formidable defense, and depending on what quarterback you see this week, whether it be Jimmy or Trey Lance, it's going to be a tough game either way.
Yeah.
No Khalil Mack either.
No Khalil out there, so it's a little
Yeah,
bit of
no,
a pass
Khalil-
rush that might be lacking. But
Yeah.
go
We got
ahead.
Robert
You know what,
Kraft.
Mike? We got Mike and Fat Mike. So go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. This is your man right here. You guys talk Chicago all day.
I know Fat Mike. I know Fat Mike. Fat Mike and I have been talking for a little bit. He's a great guy. He has a great network out there. He's doing great stuff. But unfortunately, he's in the same boat as me, and we're born and raised Chicago Bears fans, and we have to support this shit every single week. But you know, Akeem Hicks is questionable. It's bad, bro. Akeem Hicks is questionable right now, but I really don't. The thing with Akeem Hicks is he's the face of this defense, and he's the heart and soul of this defense. And the problem with that is that the injuries just keep happening every single year, and it's getting a lot worse. Robert Quinn, I love him coming off COVID though. So we'll see what happens with that. Khalil's out. I think it's going to be a long day. Elijah Mitchell is a dog, and I definitely think he's one of those guys that nobody's paying attention to right now. I think he's going to run up the board today, whether it's Trey Lance or Jimmy. We're lucky, Coach, that George Kittle's still on IR, because then I wouldn't even say the Bears had a chance today, because truly Danny Trevathan or whoever else is out there, other than Roquan Smith, I don't trust them to beat a guy like George Kittle. Justin Fields, it's going to be another long day. I don't know of the coach, that's taken over for Matt Nagy. I surprisingly thought it was actually going to be Bill Lazor, who was going to be the acting head coach, but he's not. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll see, who this guy is, and if we're actually willing to fire Nagy by midseason, if it looks nice. But yeah, it's just great not to see that bald head again.
But the Bears are not in bad position. They're 3-4. I mean, they're right behind Minnesota. They're not exactly out of it. Trey Lance has shown. Justin Fields has shown that he can maneuver the ball with Chicago. I think, given a little bit more experience, I think he's kind of in the same area where Matt Jones is for the Patriots. He just needs to be more familiarized with the offense, and it may save Matt Nagy's job. You never know, and I'm sure that's going to be like big bummers for you guys.
No.
Well, I think the thing is this. Sorry, go ahead, Mike. I apologize.
No, you're good, Mike. Go ahead.
The thing is this. Matt Nagy starting Justin Fields when he started Justin Fields pretty much saves his job anyways. Right. I mean, when you really boil it down, the entire Chicago Bear fan basis here has been wanting and hedging for this guy since week one over Andy Dalton. Nobody wanted Andy Dalton to start to begin with. And now you're starting with this guy. The problem with this offense, right? The problem with this team right now is hands down the offense. They just can't put up points. And the defense is good enough to where it's going to keep you in games. Everybody's saying here in Chicago that they want Justin Fields to have this breakout game. Like that Mitchell Trubisky Tampa Bay game. Well, time out a second. When Mitch Trubisky met Tampa Bay a couple of years back, that's not the same defense that they looked at this last week or last year, for that matter. Okay, this defense has got dramatically and drastically better down there in Tampa Bay. Chicago Bears on the back end, I mean, they were thrown up against, it was Chris Conte. All right, we all remember him, right? Chris Conte. That guy was a turd sandwich. All right, no wonder why Mitch Trubisky had 6 touchdowns against that secondary.
Right.
All right,
Yep.
We can't put points on the board. So teams like New England, teams like Jacksonville, teams like the Jets, teams that are consistently behind in games, they have the opportunity to throw the ball. That makes sure that, you know, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, and Zach Wilson have those big breakout games at 300 yards a pop. The Bears don't have garbage time. They're in almost every single game. They haven't had a garbage time for this, the exception of this last week against Tampa Bay and the exception of that game against Cleveland, where I was at. It was terrible, but they've never been in a garbage time situation.
Horrible. It was hard to watch.
Right.
So you're not going to
was
get
hard
those
to
numbers
watch.
out of Justin Fields. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm
and
sorry.
Charles, to my
Yeah.
point, the reason why I say at the end of the year you just take this guy and you move on from him is because of what we've seen with Justin Fields. And coach is gonna hate on me because I was one of those guys that was saying bring in the kid. But you know, when you get sacked 9
Coach already hates
times,
on you.
well, right. But when you go into Cleveland and get sacked 9 times, and in the fourth quarter you're still having your franchise quarterback in the game, when you're losing to Tampa in the fourth with 5 minutes left and it's 38-3, and you still have your franchise quarterback, Tom Brady's not even in the game at this time. Tom Brady hasn't played since the mid-third quarter. You still have Justin Fields in there taking hits. Matt Nagy, to me, doesn't give a shit about this kid.
But you gotta realize, man.
Realize what? Why is he in that game? What's he learning?
Well, yeah. Let coach respond.
But the thing is, man, it's Nagy's fault. Don't get me wrong, but also Justin Fields leads the league in holding the football with no pressure, with pressure. Like he holds the ball because he's looking for wide open. That's the one knock I told you from the beginning about Justin Fields. You can't hold the ball in the NFL.
Right.
It's like this. If his hand is right here and that dude's on his back, you got it. And so keeping them in is you're just giving them reps, man. Because that's what you want, right?
You don't need those kind of reps, though.
But that's the thing, though. But you got to realize when it's up like that, guess what? What do you think the defense? What do you think the Tampa Bay defense is doing? They're putting their second and third string in. They're not keeping the starters in because they are
keeping a lot of pressure. It's basically preseason all over again.
Let's get real here, though. Too. Let's get real here, Coach. Too. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just meeting you, man. I'm Fat Mike. I apologize. So when people are calling me Coach, I don't know who the hell's talking to who. All right, but let's get real here on a real basis. Mike, you and I know this. This offensive line here for Chicago has been absolute horseshit since 2016.
Yeah.
It's been trash. All right, I was the very first one. I mean, you can go back 5 years now in tweets and say, why are you drafting Mitchell Trubisky when it's not in immediate need? Granted, you had Mike Glennon. All right, I don't care. Mike Glennon's terrible. We all know Mike Glennon's terrible, but you paid the guy to be your starter, right? Then you go out and draft Mitchell Trubisky, who was not at that specific moment, not an immediate plug-and-play starter. The Bears have needed offensive line since 2016, guys. Plain and simple. Right. Thank God we maybe have Larry Borum coming back tonight out of Mizzou, which would be nice this afternoon. But Tevin Jenkins, that's a rocket or a home run. I mean, you're talking that's Apollo 13. It could blow up any second. Who knows? That could be a terrible pick that you wasted to move up on in the second round because he's got a blown out back. All right. The Bears need offensive line to protect Justin Fields. Oh, he may hold the ball, but it's not all on Justin Fields.
No, I said that from the beginning.
It's not all on Justin Fields. And Justin Fields, I will say this. Justin Fields has one of these, Coach. I don't know. I mean, I know we're live on video, and I apologize for backing up away from the mic to where I'm ruining audio. But Justin Fields also has one of these too, Coach. Give it a look. A very long whipping action. He throws the football like a baseball player. It starts at the hip. It doesn't start here 3/4. It doesn't start way back here. He has that long whipping motion where he comes down with the football.
Yeah, it takes a long time for the football.
It takes a long time to come across the body.
Adding another half second right there.
And that's one of the biggest things that I said from the beginning. And from the beginning of the season, I said the offensive line is trash.
Yeah.
And my whole thing was putting you. He's not starting week 1 because guess what? The offensive line is not good.
Right.
Now, the offensive line not good. We just like you talked about that long arm. He holds the ball. Like all that plays a part. And that's the thing that goes back to, like I said, more the general manager learning. Like, hey, look, this is what we got. We got to do better.
I'm not trashing on Nagy for that. I'm not. I'd still much rather. This is just me. This is just me. I know. Like, listen, I wanted to see Justin Fields start the season, but knowing how bad this offensive line is right now as we sit, it's not going to get any better, guys. It's not going to get. We're lucking out that J.J. Watt's out for the year in a couple of weeks when we go down to the Cardinals.
Yeah,
because Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt would eat that team for lunch because that offensive line is terrible.
You saw it happen with Cleveland. That would be just another repeat right there.
I mean, I was at that game in Cleveland, and it almost seemed intentional.
Yeah,
like honestly, I left that game.
To ask you, Fat Mike, is they talk about it. Charles just brought it up. Oh well, he's playing against third stringers, fourth stringers. He wasn't. Yeah,
not all game. He's not.
Miles Garrett.
No. I wasn't saying all game, but the last.
Oh no, I meant Charles.
When you're getting blown out, coach. When you're getting blown out
at the beginning, but you got to realize, especially a team like Tampa, they're trying to get healthy and stay healthy because their whole defense has got dismantled. So for them,
right, but they still kept Barrett in.
But if you look.
Right. Miles Garrett's Shaq Barrett's a stud. Miles Garrett's a stud. Those guys are going to eat guys regardless of who they play.
Apparently, anybody that's named Garrett is a stud in the NFL. Must be. If you're
Garrett, anything with Garrett at the end of it,
and your name, unless your name is Blaine Garrett.
If you're
Blaine Gabbert, you mean?
If you're born and your name is Garrett, chances are you're gonna have a really good career in the NFL. So just keep that. So all you mommies and daddies out there, if you have a son last name Garrett, they're gonna have a great season. They're gonna have a great year in the NFL.
Change your name real quick. Yeah, change your name real quick if you want your kids' potential high hopes of being an NFL star. Right.
We got Fat Mike from 1252 Sports Chicago Network. Fat Mike, how long have you been a Bears fan? How long have you been a Chicago fan? Because I see it's like Chicago everywhere over there.
I am. A lot of people like to call me the epitome of Chicago here. I'm the diehard Chicago fan, regardless of what it is. Blackhawks, Bulls, Cubs. I mean, I don't root for the White Sox. I almost dropped a bad word there. I apologize.
Because I see it's like you're either on the dark side or you're
pick
on the
one
line.
or the other, man. You pick one or the other, plain and simple. Plain and simple. You don't do that. It's like being a Mets and Yankees fan. If you're one of those, you're an asshole, pretty much. You know what I mean? You gotta pick one or the other. But no, I listen, man. I bleed Chicago here. I really do. I am a diehard fan. I go to a ton of games every single year. My wife and I mean, we go to Bears games, Bulls games, Blackhawks games, Cubs games. I mean, we're out there every single time we can, and you meet a lot of interesting people. And it's Chicago to its finest, man. There's nothing better than Chicago in the early fall or the summer. Plain and simple. It's the most beautiful city on earth.
Now, are you on any antidepressant medications for being a Chicago fan?
Oh, I probably should be, definitely, especially with the way the Blackhawks started, with the way the Cubs are, with the way the Bears are. The Bulls are my antidepressant medication right now. They're actually playing pretty good. The addition of Caruso, the addition of DeRozan, Vooch. I like Vooch.
Come back or something.
The Bulls are playing good ball, man. They're playing good ball. Everybody left. Everybody left a couple months ago after they signed DeRozan. I was like, this team's going to win 50 games. That team's going to win 50 games.
It's been a while. I know we're getting off football here, but it's been a while since the Bulls actually started playing some good ball. Do you see that team going from the Jordan, Pippen, Rodman era all the way down to all these years there that you've been suffering? Do you see any promise on this team now? Even though, beside the good start, do you think they can keep it up?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, listen, when you got Vooch in the middle averaging 15 and 15 points, 15 boards a game, that's pretty solid. You haven't had that in, I mean, I don't know how long. We haven't had a center in how long. We haven't had a center since Tyson Chandler, Eddie Curry. All right. I mean, these guys are monsters. And now we got three legitimate scorers with DeRozan, Levine, and Caruso. It helps out. We did have a setback with Patrick Williams getting setback out for the year with a
I was there for that one.
That's a heartbreaker. And you know what, guys? Basketball is hands down my least favorite sport out of all the sports. I'm baseball, football. Like, that's me. Baseball, football, hockey, basketball. But like now, come football season, like, yeah, you almost need antidepressants going into the season, each and every single Bears season, because you know what's going to happen.
So, Fat Mike, I got to read this to you. This is a post on your Facebook, October 25th at 8:31 a.m. And this is
Okay.
why I say, are you on the antidepressants? Dear Chicago Bears,
Yes.
I'd like to start this letter out by saying I've been a fan for over 30 years, and I've been a diehard Chicago Bears fan, and I've been to a ton of home games and have traveled to thousands of miles to road games. I've spent endless Sundays watching and rooting for my favorite football team. So much time watching this team play. I've bought so much Bears apparel. I've dedicated 2 drawers and plenty of my closet space from hats, hoodies, jerseys, t-shirts, and tons of memorabilia. I've been to training camps and family weekends. I've literally sunk tens of thousands of dollars on this team. Sounds like you should be an owner. But it's clear that ownership and the high-ups do not care about the product or lack thereof that is throttled on the field. And it goes on and on. What would you do as GM, owner, coach, name it? What would you do to turn this Bears team around? What will you focus on?
Ooh, you just gave me goosebumps. I'm not even gonna lie, because like I love putting myself in this position. This is the position that my buddies, when we're a fifth of vodka in and about a 6-pack in, we always have this discussion, and my answer is always the same. You have to bring in, if you're the owner, if you're the McCaskies, it's clear that you have no idea what football is in Chicago. Football is, guys, you don't understand. Like, okay, I know you guys are from all over the place. Where are you from? I apologize. You're up north, or northeast, right?
I'm in Florida.
Florida. And how about you, Coach?
I'm a Patriot fan. I'm from Rhode Island. So,
Coach, how about yourself?
I'm in Texas.
Okay, so you south. Okay, so you guys are south. Football in Chicago. This is when Cubs and Sox fans no longer hate each other. We all root for one team, and we all love each other. Football in Chicago is Chicago. I mean, it truly is. The breakdown is mind-blowing because everybody loves the Bears. From the top of the state to the bottom of the state, everybody roots for the Bears. Okay? If I'm the owner, all right, the McCaskies obviously don't know a single thing about football and what it takes to produce a winning team on the field. You have to hire somebody who knows football.
Right. And
no more George McCaskey, no more Virginia McCaskey, no more Ted Phillips. You bring in a guy like the Cubs did with Theo Epstein. You brought in a baseball guy who knows the game. You have to bring in somebody, this is funny, somebody like, while he's sitting out there doing commentary, Drew Brees. Throw all the money at the world at Drew Brees. Hey, Drew, you know what it takes to win. Help us build a winning franchise here. Where are we lacking? He knows defense because he's played against him his entire career. He knows offensive line because he's had a formidable one in front of him his entire career.
But you know, at worst case scenario, Drew Brees can be a quarterback mentor.
Right. I mean, something. You bring in a guy who knows how to build a team, and then that guy make him what the Cubs made Theo Epstein, president of football operations. He's not your GM. He's not your head coach. He is the guy who brings in those guys. He brings in a GM, like somebody like Louis Riddick, which would be awesome. Somebody who knows the game, who knows what it takes to win the game. And then those two collaborate on bringing in a head coach. And then all three of them collaborate on what to draft because they all know. That way you have 3 guys, 3 football minds that knows what it takes to win a game in the NFL, to be a successful team in the NFL. That would be my stance on it.
So basically, Fat Mike, what you're saying is we need to break this whole team down at the leadership spot.
Right.
It needs to be broken down from top to bottom. I mean, that's how bad this team is right now. Even with Justin Fields here, even with Matt Nagy, Ted Phillips, Ryan Pace, whoever's here, you are stuck in a rut of mediocrity here in Chicago, where the best you're going to be is 7-9, 8-8, or I'm sorry, 7-10, 8-9. All right. 8-9, 9-8. You're not going above 10 wins a year, and that's mediocrity. That's where your picks lack because you're drafting in the middle of the NFL draft. And please, for the love of God, stop trading your damn picks away.
Right.
All right. I mean, Ryan Pace.
We still don't have one for this year.
Right. He's done great in the later rounds. He's done great. And he's had a lot of misses. He's had a lot of mistakes, but he's also had a lot of hits.
Right.
All right.
Mike, I do want to ask you though, you're here too, and you heard it all summer long. We were screwed we were screwed. And it wasn't just Matt Nagy on the hot seat. Ryan Pace was as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was the hype of we're going to get Russell Wilson. We're going to get a different quarterback. We're going to trade for somebody. We're going to get you guys something. And we ended up with just Andy Dalton and Nick Foles. And that's what it was going to ride until Justin Fields dropped.
And you know what? I was okay with that, Mike. I was okay with riding with Andy Dalton because you know what you need to do. That, in my mind, with Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy going, hey, we're not drafting a quarterback here. All right. I'm saying this before the season rides, right? Before we draft Justin Fields.
Right.
I'm okay with that aspect of everything. Like, because that tells me, hey, Chicago Bears fans, we're going to suck.
Right.
We're not giving away our picks. We're going to draft our pick this year in the first round. We're going to draft another pick next year in the first round. We're not going to suck. We're rebuilding this thing. We're riding with Andy Dalton, for crying out loud.
But I look at it. I look at it like this. You know, it's that thing where with Khalil Mack, guys like Khalil Mack just don't become available to you. Guys like Justin Fields just don't drop. And I feel like Ryan Pace has got his job saved because of those things. Now, he's created an amazing defense. Don't get me wrong, an outstanding defense.
He's created a good front seven.
Right, but you've missed on a lot of guys. And you know, you take Adam Shaheen, who was a basketball player.
And you replace him with Jimmy
over
Graham.
George Kittle. So
Right.
you have to look at it from that perspective, and you have to
Not only that, you also took him over Alvin Kamara.
Right. You've taken him, and you look at the Mitchell Trubisky stuff. We're talking Jamal Adams, T.J. Watt, Christian McCaffrey, Deshaun Watson, who, you know, later on ends up not being that bad of a decision.
Rubbing tugs.
And Patrick Mahomes, right? But you know, at the time, you know, I'm a Clemson fan. How I'm from Chicago and a Clemson fan, that doesn't make sense. But
Right.
I watched Deshaun his whole college career, and there's not one person who could have told me back in 2016 that, okay, we're taking Mitch because he's better. This dude literally just won a national championship and was a dog versus Mitch starting 12 games.
Over 13 games, right? No, I'm right there with you. But I was along the line of this, man. Like I said previously, we all knew where the Bears lacked. It wasn't quarterback, all right? If you're signing what you did this year is exactly what you did in 2017 by pushing back the inevitable. Eventually, you have to build up front. Coach, how do you move the football in the NFL? Not even in the NFL, Coach. How do you move the football in football?
No, it's a battle up front in the trenches.
Right?
You can go 1,000 ways. Either you have a good old line, or you're very strategic of how you run getting the players the ball.
Right, but that's the problem here is we don't have someone that's strategic, and we don't have an offensive line.
It doesn't even need to be strategic, man, Mike. What it is everybody in today's NFL game. The game has changed tremendously from 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from where we are now. The game is going to continue to progress, and the progression is you have to have big, fast, strong offensive linemen. Right. It's no longer you need that 300. You don't need Big Cat Williams out there anymore. Nope. You know what I mean? You don't need that 6'6", 350-pound monster who's fast, off the ball, but he can't move nowhere. He can't run a screen. You need that guy that can pull out, who can ride the edge and create blocks for your running back. You need that guy who can pull out and set up a screen for the screenplay, because that's where football is now. It's not the value of a running back has just decreased tremendously over the. Shit. I mean, they're sorry.
Look at Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, I mean the last. Yeah, I mean,
but I will say this though. I think it's kind of like it's a shortage of linemen. It's like even if you look at Kansas City traded for 3 different linemen, and they still. I mean, I think it's a good athletic lineman compared to D-line and the linebackers that they're going against. I think it's it's a shortage.
Yeah, I mean, well, look at the guys the Bears could have had over the last couple of years. You could have had Lloyd Cushenberry. You could have had Ezra Cleveland. You could have had Wyatt Davis. You could have had. I mean, the list goes. You could have had.
Fat Mike was forgetting. You know, we're willing to trade up for Mitchell Trubisky, but not for Quentin Nelson when he went.
Exactly my point.
And you know something? I actually went ahead when I saw that draft. I'm over here. It's like the Bears traded up all these picks to get where they were. Take Mitchell Trubisky. Who in the hell is this? Who is this guy?
I like Roquan Smith. Don't get me wrong, but would I rather have another famous linebacker?
Was a for sure,
right? And it's without a doubt. But would I rather have another famous linebacker that doesn't bring us a Super Bowl like we've had for the last 30 plus years, or are we going to bring in somebody who's generational like Quentin Nelson? I take Quentin Nelson every single day because it's something we've never really had. And I just look at it from that perspective.
You know, you're right. You're right. And you know, you look. Go ahead, Coach. I apologize. Go ahead.
No, I mean, like I said, I agree with you. What you said from the beginning. Like I said, you got to get people in there that has a plan. And I'm a big, truly believer. You got to get somebody in that's a winner, because at least if you have somebody in the winner, at least they kind of have somewhat of a formula. And I think you guys don't have that, from the head coach to the general manager. I don't know who the president is. So I can't even question. I don't. Again, I still don't know.
I wish Ted Phillips would go lay in the middle of Harlem during
Coach,
rush
listen
hour.
to this. He's been there over 30 years.
Yeah,
30 years.
And I think
one great hire.
I think that's the biggest issue for you guys is you got to have somebody to win. You can't be a loser and lead men.
Right.
You have to have some kind of credibility. You have to have an idea or a plan. And nowadays, one thing about it, like you said earlier, man, you got to think outside the box. When you watch some of these teams they play, it's not the normal, simple, same old, same old. This is being creative, and you guys are not. And your draft is terrible.
Not. And Coach, the drafting isn't terrible. I mean, like I said, Ryan Pace has made up on some of those late round picks, but it's the late round picks. You need to hit on a couple of these early picks, like Mike said earlier.
You need to hit Jack
Ryan
now and then on the first pick,
right? And you know what? Ryan Pace has missed on more than he's hit. You go out and draft Adam Shaheen. A year later, you replaced him with Jimmy Graham. You go out and draft Mitchell Trubisky. 2 years later, you're replacing them, or 4 years later, you're replacing them with Justin Fields. And you're signing backups in Andy Dalton. You're signing backups in Mike Glennon, career backups. All right, Andy Dalton,
like a sixth or seventh pick in the first round or something like that.
He was the second overall pick.
Second overall.
They traded up. They traded up. And then San Fran reaped the benefits by grabbing Solomon Thomas, but Solomon Thomas hasn't really made out to anything that prestigious in the NFL.
At the time,
Solomon Thomas was the pick to make. Right. It's bad right now, guys. The Bears just need a lot of they just need I'm going to say this. They just need to suck. And I'm okay. I can ride that train. Don't try and win the games that you should lose. Lose to Green Bay, lose to Tampa Bay, lose to Pittsburgh, lose to Arizona, lose to all the teams that you're supposed to lose against. Hell, I don't care if you drop the 2 against Detroit. Okay, honestly, I don't care at this point. Losing your division, because then you're getting a number one. You're getting a legit pick, but you got to find somebody to make those picks, and that's what's scary for all of us.
But see, Fat Mike, say if you go ahead and tank the rest of the season, you get a top 5 pick. Are you really?
You're not. You get a top 5 pick for next year. It goes to the Jets. Regardless, it goes to the Jets.
Okay. But I'm just saying, even with this current system in place, even if you had a top 5 pick, do you really trust them to make the right decision?
No.
So
that's what I'm saying. Everybody has to go.
First round. Not in that first round. Justin Fields, to me, and Roquan Smith were some of the only real first round picks that I liked from Ryan Pace. And it's one of those things, though, Charles, where this isn't George Halas. You know, God rest his soul. He's an amazing individual, but this is George McCaskey. And George McCaskey is a businessman. George McCaskey knows nothing about the game of football. Virginia, I'll give it to Virginia. Virginia knows football. You know, she grew up on it.
I'm pretty sure she died in 1984.
Yeah, that's just a puppet. But I mean, it's definitely something I'm looking at from that perspective, though. As this guy is a businessman, and at the end of the day, Fat Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, I truly don't think he cares whether we win or lose, because as Fat Mike said, in Chicago, you're going to make money regardless, because fans are always going to be there. Fans are always going to support this team and buy the jerseys. And at the end of the day, that's why we need Ted Phillips out, and that's why we need Pace out. We need Nagy. We need a fresh, clean start. But it's never going to happen. They just bought a horse.
I think you're close.
You know, Coach, that this sounds very familiar. It sounds like the Culver houses in Tampa until finally the Glazers stepped in and said, "All right, now we're going to put back the team." It really sounds like that.
I mean, what's going on with the Bears right now, and this is gonna suck when I say this, because I'm sure everybody knows about the Blackhawks news that's going around town. But what this team reminds me of, it reminds me of the Blackhawks of the late '90s, early '90s, or mid '90s, late '90s, early 2000s. Where they were just like, what is going on here? Where you actually had to pay to watch a
you weren't even on TV, bro.
They weren't even on TV. You had to pay to go for a ticket. Okay. And you know what? I would be okay with not watching the Bears on Sunday at home if I had to pay for a ticket, because that's how bad they are. But honestly, like, That's what it reminds me of. And then somebody's going to step in here and figure it out. It's bound to happen, guys. The law of average, it has to happen. You can't suck for so long.
It's just a matter of when, though. It's
the matter of when.
It's going to happen in your lifetime or
exactly.
Lifetime,
I mean, I've been
It'll
through
happen in the
heartbreak.
butt end of mine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look what happened with my Cubs. I went through heartbreak with my Cubs over and over and over again, man. You're talking 99, 2003, 2006, 2009. All right. And then again in 2015 when they lose against the Mets. And then in 2016, it finally happens. But all those years in between, think about it. That's 30 years in between where they were piss poor garbage. They were garbage. Yeah. All right. Just like the Bears are now. The Bears are garbage. All right. Any way you want to say it. And you get these meathead Chicago fans out here, Charles, Coach, Mike, you know this. You get these meathead fans out there that every year they're going to the Super. What are you smoking? You know, like what?
I like some of that too.
Yeah, where is this crack that you're getting? Because it can't be from the South Side because the South Side crack is trash. All right, like I don't know what's going on here. Like I don't know what the hell you guys are doing, but you always have these meathead fans that you got to do this, you got to do that, trade Khalil Mack, this, that, the other thing. What? Slow down.
Well, whatever crack you're getting, it's probably taking off the racetrack they're going to build a new stadium on. That's probably why.
Thank God. Let's hope. I mean, honestly,
what's your thoughts on that too? Going ahead and buying a racetrack to go ahead and actually build a new stadium.
I like
Soldier. Yeah, I love it. Soldier Field is the worst place to go see
even
anything.
after the renovations.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude,
there's one way in, one way out.
Really quick.
No, I've never been, so I don't know.
Just so you get an idea, Charles, the renovation was literally building a stairway to heaven randomly on the side of the building. It literally looks like a toilet bowl. They did no renovations. They literally just added some random ass.
Yeah, they added up like a big circular bowl on the top of it.
It looked nice. That's all I can say.
I mean, okay. Yeah, so what? It looks nice, but it still sucks. The parking lot sucks.
I'm not the one rolling through the concourses and seeing how backed up the toilets are. I don't know.
But I tell you what, I said earlier, I went to Cleveland, and I think their field is called First Energy Field. I think. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I apologize.
Who cares?
No, but hold on, man. I had so much fun out there. Yeah. I had a blast down there. They revamped all of downtown. The flat is absolutely unbelievable. Breweries everywhere. The river out there is absolutely gorgeous with a bunch of breweries and eateries. All right, but I will say this. The one thing again, I'm sorry. I almost dropped another F-bomb. I'm sorry. The one thing I absolutely love about Cleveland Stadium and Cleveland, okay, where you tailgate to party and stuff like that, right? The Bears game, you have to have tickets to the game to tailgate or else they kick you out of the tailgating section, right? You don't have to do that in Cleveland. You just pay for your park. You pay for your parking spot. You can sit out there all day long, grill, have yourself a 65-inch television out there, eat your canopy, grill, smoke, drink, do what you got to do what you want to do. It's absolutely awesome.
Do that in Tampa too. Tampa doesn't go ahead and check
one thing that sucked about Cleveland, they just did their revamping too, right? Going to our seats, the concession areas, like where you would go to buy a beer and get to your seats, the walking ways to get to your seats. They're maybe the width of my room. They're maybe 15 feet wide. So you have people lining up to buy a beer and people also trying to get their seats, and you're walking in between the lines. You're trying to play dodgy, and that sucked. That was terrible. Yeah. That was bad. But every other experience that I had out there for the game, absolutely awesome. And that's something that I wish the Bears would do up in Arlington Heights when they move. I'm all for it because the parking at Soldier Field is terrible. Getting in and out of Soldier Field is terrible. If you move to Arlington Heights, you're off of 3 major expressways there. You're off of 50. You'd be off of 83, 55, and 294. I mean, you could go through it all. 355, everything. There's 4 major expressways.
You have multiple ways to get to the stadium. That's why it's more convenient.
You could take the back roads of the stadium from where I'm at on the south side here. In 35 minutes.
Is there public transit down there for the new area?
Yeah, oh yeah. There's public transit to Arlington Heights. Yeah, you can take the metro all the way there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. I hope they do it. I hope it's sooner than later.
Right, and the biggest part to me is the dome. I want the dome so bad. I think that changes a lot of atmospheres. I think it changes a lot of outcomes of a lot of games. I remember I was at Kelvin Johnson's last career game against Detroit in Chicago, and I'm sitting all the way at the top in that little renovated part we're talking about. It's probably -5-degree wind chill up by the lake. Like, it was horrible. It was a great game, but it was horrible. And you bring in the dome, and that changes the atmosphere of everything. That's the one thing I'll give Detroit. At least they have a dome.
Retractable or non-retractable?
I think
Retractable.
I'd be fine with that either. If it's a nice September day, you can't get better than that. But
because I see you see Minnesota building their stadium. They spent like $1 billion on it, 1.2 billion on it. It's a straight up dome. I mean, it's a great looking. It's a nice feature, but it's just a straight up dome. It's not retractable. Now
Right.
you see here $2 billion in LA, and they got this whole big screen scoreboard and everything. Also,
$5 billion in
that's
LA.
$2 billion for the stadium, $3 billion to renovate all the other crap out there that they have, which is going to be like a new forum or something like that or whatever. Anyway, but it's just like, and that's flat. That's not retractable either. So it's like I'm seeing a lot of these new trends there where they're getting really, really interesting of how the domes, like the one in LA, same thing, $2 billion flat dome. So I'm thinking, is retractable even a thing anymore? I'm thinking that's like that's something in the past now.
Well, retractable would be great because then you can have those nice summer days where those early fall days when football starts. You can have it open on a 75-degree day and sunny, off doing what you got to do. But I mean, I'm right there with you. Having a retractable or a closed dome, that brings Super Bowl. That brings
so that means no more. Well, yeah, you're right. It does bring
Super Bowl. That also brings Final Four. That also brings many concerts.
WWE.
Yeah, you can do everything at that new stadium, and the Bears would own it to where it's nothing but profit for the Chicago Bears. The Bears don't own Soldier Field.
Right.
The city of Chicago owns Soldier Field.
That's business. There you go. That's
where Ted Phillips thrives. That's where Ted Phillips thrives. Ted Phillips is a businessman. Keep him in the business role. Let him man everything with the stadium. Do what you got to do on that note.
Stay the F out of football operations. Get out of here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Make us money. Stay away from the players.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, listen, you're cut off here. You have nothing to do with the team. Yep. You have everything to do with the business side of everything. Stay away from the GM. Stay away from the everything else.
Right.
There you go. We're talking with Fat Mike. You can follow him on Twitter, Fat Mike Chicago. He is part of the 1252 Chicago Sports Network. Go ahead and plug your show, plug your podcast that you have going on the 1252.
Yeah, I mean, we got a ton of shows, man. It's not just me. My show's the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show. We also have we have a show with David Schuster, longtime guy here in Chicago, big time CBS sports guy, The Score. We also have Fred Hubner, who's also a big ESPN guy out here in Chicago. Both those guys have their own shows on our network. We have a fantasy football show with Jeff Schwartz. Jeff Schwartz was the guy who illustrated and planned the disco demolition up here at Old Comiskey Park. And we also have Harry the Greek, who's absolutely amazing and writing a heater. He has his own show called the Over Under Podcast. And we have a weekly show with Bears Fan with the Brain with our guy Alan Bratcher. We got a great little team here going. We're kicking ass. We're doing everything, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Very awesome. Yeah, I know Harry the Greek. He actually roams a couple of shows with the Sports Web with Peter Blake over here in
yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So
yeah, Peter Blake was just a guest on his show this last Friday night when they were going over all the overs and unders for all the games and stuff like that, telling you what hot bets to make. Him and Peter had a great night on Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally love Peter. I used to work with him over on a couple of other networks too. So yeah, he's awesome. So here's one thing before we let you go, Fat Mike. I'm going to go ahead and show your logo, which I absolutely love. I really do. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick here and share it with everybody because I mean, come on now. We gotta be able to show some love here. Gotta love StreamYard. And tab and Facebook and you gotta love this. You gotta love this.
Yeah, that's actually that
with the pizza in one hand, dunking the pizza and the beer in the other, full spread style, and the CM Punk reference right there in the middle.
Yeah, well, what's going on in that logo there? That's actually my beer logo. One of our sponsors out here in the Chicagoland area, Nick and Ivy Brewing Company, made a beer for us. And in the background, if you look, you got the Bears logo, or you get the Bulls colors at the top, the Bears colors in the middle, Blackhawks, Cubs, and Sox all behind it. But it's a delicious beer. It's a great beer. You can find it out here in downtown Lockport. You find it at Burcott's and stuff like that. It's getting all around, but it's a great beer. That's what I'm going to be drinking all day today. So
there you go. Any final thoughts? Bears game today, of course. You know what that's going on. Do you have any final thoughts on what's going on with the Bears and Niners? You have the last word.
It's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a tough game. I don't like the Bears defense right now. Khalil Mack being out, Akeem Hicks being softer than I'm with Mongo on that one. He calls him, what does he call? He calls him Muffin Top, which is a good one. Mongo McMichael calls him Muffin Top, but I'm in full agreement with that. I think it's going to be a tough game. Hopefully, Justin Fields can get off to a hot start immediately. But unfortunately, I'm going to take the 49ers in this game. I'm going to take the 49ers 17-13 with a Bears loss. That's my prediction for today's game.
There you go. Fat Mike from Fat Mike Chicago Sports, Facebook.com/FatMike.ChicagoSport. And, of course, you can follow him on Twitter at Fat Mike Chicago. Fat Mike, pleasure to have you on the
guys. Thank you so much for having me. Anytime you guys want me back, you guys let me know, and don't be afraid.
I'll be shouting out to you for my other talk show. We can go full F-bomb city there.
I tried to keep it PC today, man. I tried to. I was doing a pretty damn good job, I thought. So
no, you're doing good. A little shit talk there, but that's all right. It's all right.
All right, guys. You guys have a good one. Take care and try to bear it down. I'll talk to you guys a little bit later.
There you go. Take care, Fat Mike. Bye-bye.
Later, guys.
All right, there you go, folks. Fat Mike. First, hey, listen, went pretty well. 813-699-5353. Want to go ahead and give us a call. We got that going on. Pushing the top of the hour, so we got like 30 minutes to go ahead and go on. Let's run through a couple of things here. I'm all over the place today, so I'm like derailed. So let's actually do the Vegas picks, and then we'll go ahead and do our picks and get out of here. How's that sound?
Woo.
Yeah, I know. We're running a little bit fast here. So, actually, no. Let me take a step back real quick. So, Jaguars owner, and we'll just go ahead and touch on these really quick. Jaguars owner Shad Khan, he says he absolutely has 100% faith in Urban Meyer. Do you think this is basically kind of like just a front, or do you actually think he's telling the truth? Do you actually think he's got faith in this coach?
He's telling the truth. He's gonna ride him. He's not gonna get rid of him after 1 year. He knows the Jaguars is in a mess, and they won a game. So now you're gonna see at the end of the year and see how everything goes.
Okay, so he has overall pick the number one overall pick, Trevor Lawrence. He has faith that they did the right thing. Mike, do you have any comment on the Jaguars owner Shad Khan saying, "Hey, I trust Urban Meyer. We don't care what his nightclub ritual is. We have faith in him."
Man, it's more of, does Urban Myers have faith in himself? I would see Urban Myers resigning more than I would see him getting fired after his first year. Maybe he just doesn't feel like he can hack it. Obviously with everything going on, you might see that plan out. But I don't see them firing him after a year. That traditionally just doesn't happen that way. I mean, if this is baseball or maybe even basketball and it looks that bad, that's understandable. But in football, again, I think everybody respectfully gets a 4-year window to build something of Super Bowl caliber defense or offense. And unless you're the Chicago Bears, you probably extend that guy. But, it's definitely something where I don't think they get rid of him because there's not that many other people out there that I think would go to Jacksonville.
Odell Beckham Jr. coming back on injury. He's going to go ahead and play against the Steelers. And Stephon Gilmore will make his appearance in a Carolina Panthers uniform this week after being activated. Who has the bigger impact? Do you see OBJ impacting with the Browns, or do you see Carolina shutting down their opponent Atlanta in Atlanta with Stephon Gilmore? Who do you think?
Gilmore. OBJ can be healthy, 100% fine, but guess what? Baker's not. So Gilmore at least Gilmore can rely on himself to do what he needs to do. I just think Baker, Odell Becker needs Gilmore. I mean, not Gilmore. He needs Baker to make plays for him.
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing, Mike. Do you think it's Gilmore going to take the spotlight away from OBJ today?
No, I mean that's a different question. What I think it is who makes a bigger impact is Odell. And it's because I think that secondary in Carolina is actually pretty decent. I wouldn't say they've even proved it. They don't need Gilmore. It's just a luxury, and it's something that will bring them even more experience. And to me, Odell is more needed, in my opinion, just off the simple fact that you don't have Baker. You need somebody out there to help Casey make these plays.
Baker's playing.
Baker is playing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is playing.
He's playing.
He's playing. I guess what coach says he's done 100%.
He's an idiot. Oh, my.
Oh, somebody else that's also trying to push the play is Dak Prescott. Do you think Dak is you think he should play, or do you think he should take it easy?
Dak, I think, shouldn't play. I think they can afford, especially with the division they're in, to take a week off.
Okay, coach.
Nah, I agree with you. I mean, they're in a week of it. You're not gonna get the number 1 seed. So regardless of the situation, you're not gonna get that. So you might as well just, hey, let's be healthy.
As long as you make it. As long as you make it.
Just get invited to the party.
Backup quarterback Cooper Rush took all the snaps in practice this week so far.
Who?
Exactly who? But anyway, so Dak's gonna go ahead and go through normal pregame warmups, and he may or may not get the green light. If not, you're gonna see Cooper Rush, quarterback the Dallas Cowboys, and they are facing, who are they facing tonight?
Vikings.
They're facing the Vikings. Yep, they're facing the Vikings in Minnesota. So it's a road game. It's a Sunday night game. Cooper Rush in the under the lights there in Minnesota. So there you go. So you're saying Dak should go ahead and take the week off?
Yeah.
Yes, he should.
Quickly, rookie of the year candidates. We got Jamar Chase killing it. Kyle Pitts is showing a lot of it. He had a big game last week. Do you think that Jamar Chase is the man to beat? Do you think Kyle Pitts can be, or do you have another rookie out there that may shock everybody?
Go, Mike, because you're smiling.
Huh? Ain't nothing. I didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
But to me, it's Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is doing exactly what Justin Jefferson did last year. To that account of just completely shocking the world. A lot of this. I mean, remember our week 1 talks. This guy can't catch the football, and he's not used to the college football versus this football. Yeah, that was bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was just something that the media put out there to throw heads at a first-round pick. I think it was a statement that was made, and I think I even made it a point to where I feel like he did mean what he said, but I didn't think it was seriously going to be affected. Jamar Chase is doing something right now that could potentially change the franchise of this team. Like, he's there without a doubt, franchise generational talent. A lot of people thought it was Joey B and that they weren't ever going to get better than Burrow, but Jamar has proven that time and time again that he's that guy. I like Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts is a generational talent as well. But with tight ends, man, I would really like to see, if this is a long-term conversation, I definitely think Kyle Pitts is up there. But a year 1 tight end in Atlanta, of all places, I just don't see that giving him that award, especially with that record. Now, the Bengals win the division, and we're having a conversation about Jamar Chase being one of the best MVPs that are non-quarterback related. Like, I'm looking at it like that as a rookie.
So you're like rookie of the year and MVP?
If we're not giving it to a quarterback or Derrick Henry, I'm giving it to Jamar Chase.
Yeah, that would be something unusual to see. Rookie of the year and MVP. That's going to be interesting to see. News out of Miami, Brian Flores, he went on record, said, barring injury, Tua is the Dolphins starting quarterback for the rest of 2021. Does this mean the end of the Deshaun Watson watch in Miami?
That's cap. I'll say it again. That's cap. Coach can probably agree with me. Bro, they say, I'm sorry I took the handles on this one, but right now, this was QB1 before the draft. This was, Andy Dalton, put a 4 next to it. He's QB1. We're going the direction of Andy Dalton. He's our guy. Boom, we draft Justin Fields. Hey, Mike Glennon's our guy for the rest of the year. Boom, we draft Mitchell Trubisky. You do this time and time again. Nick Foles is just here to mentor Mitchell Trubisky. Boom, Nick Foles is your guy. Like, you're saying that to make it comfortable and to be respectful and to be a businessman to Tua. You don't want to disrespect Tua publicly and say, hell no, we're looking for Deshaun. We're looking for so-and-so. We're trying to make moves. You can't go out there publicly and say that because, I mean, that's just mad disrespectful to not only Tua, but the free agents that are coming are going to be like, damn, like, you really can't go here because they're a flip on you on a dime. So I don't think they're out on Deshaun whatsoever. I think the allegations are still weird, and it's definitely a situation like the Gruden stuff where I feel like there's a lot of stuff being held under wraps that we don't even know about. How much do they know? How much don't they know? But I think by the 2nd, which is the trade deadline, we will find a place for Deshaun Watson.
It's going to be interesting, Coach. What do you think? Do you think Miami is out of the Deshaun chase?
Texas won't trade him this year. They won't trade him until the summer because they're gonna want them picks. They're gonna hold it down.
Right.
I think.
You can tell me if one of these teams, Washington, Carolina, Miami, you're going to throw picks at them, they're not going to take it.
But what you got to realize, Deshaun has to want to go there because he has the no trade clause.
Right.
That was the whole thing about the Carolina. Everybody was saying,
well, he's not playing. Don't you think he'd rather go somewhere and play?
But
yeah,
but still, I mean, you can look at it two ways. You're at the Texans, you go play for Washington. You're kind of in the same boat. But
if you go to Miami, you actually have a little talent there and actually a coach that knows what the hell he's doing.
Yes, I mean, and that's the thing. He said he'll go to Miami, but the issue is the Texans is not going to trade him unless they get what they want.
What about Carolina? Carolina's been a dark horse too.
But he never waived the no trade clause to them.
Oh,
that's why they dropped out. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like it has to be two people have to agree to the trade.
And you got to think in the back of your mind, Sam Darnold's thinking, "What the hell you mean you're trading for Deshaun Watson? What the hell is that all about?"
Right.
I mean, that's just part of the business. You know, as an athlete, I mean, if you were in college, if you don't do your job, they're gonna bring in 3 more quarterbacks. But the thing about it is, it has to be the Texans have to agree. Deshaun Watson has to agree to go there. And I think what he said was, I mean, of course, he's like, "Hey, this is our quarterback," because it's not traded yet. If he was traded, then it's a different story, different conversation. But I think the Texans, they need picks. They don't have any picks.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's like, hey, Miami, we've always negotiated with you guys in the past with picks and trades. So if you give me these picks, then we'll make it happen. But then Miami, you got to think of it as, hey, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you can play. Well, technically, he can play this year because they're not doing it in February.
Goodell already said he's not going to be put on the exempt list for the remainder of the year, so he can play.
Because it's nothing.
They can play right now for Houston. I don't understand why Houston's back at the
because you don't want that. You don't want that back.
You don't want those problems.
Because you don't know no one, you really don't know the situation. Like you hear it, okay. He didn't rape anybody. Like it was just an awkward, they felt like in a way
it just wasn't
bullied. Like they was kind of bullying.
Gruden's a good example of it is, okay, well, we don't know what Gruden's really did, so we let him play against the Bears. And then it turns out that it was true, and they're like, why was he even on the field to begin with?
But in that situation, that was you really didn't know everything.
Right, but
you already had a game plan.
You don't know.
But you weren't gonna fire like your offensive coordinator the day of the game. I mean, I kind of understand that. But even with Deshaun, it's like you don't really know. But the Texans are not giving him up for peanuts. They're going to stay firm for their offer. Because guess what? They suck regardless. They're not worried about it. They know, hey, they're not tripping. It's like, hey, you going to either give me these picks or I just keep riding out. And guess what? Guess who's going to be with me? Miami, you're going to be right behind us.
So another news story that came through, Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
Traded back, I believe, to Baltimore?
No.
Traded back to New Orleans.
New Orleans. I'm sorry. I apologize. And New Orleans, it's a little bit of a story here. Jameis Winston going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, now with Mark Ingram in the backfield, along with Alvin Kamara. Does Jameis get the better of Bruce Arians tonight?
No. God, no. Heck no.
They're playing in New Orleans. Tampa Bay doesn't have the greatest experience.
No, I will say that we for some reason since 2000 they sucked. They always sucked in New Orleans. For some reason, the reason they got Mark Ingram back is because when you get inside the 10-yard line, Alvin Kamara can't smash it in. So you need that hard nose. I'm sticking in that. That's what Latavius Murray was, and that's what he's doing with Baltimore now.
Oh shoot!
And on top, what was that, Mike? What'd you see?
Nothing.
You know, like fly by you or something.
Oh
Like that?
man, I just banged my knee on the table.
That's not good. We have to put you on IR there.
Yeah, both of
Touchdown
them.
crew. You know what? We're gonna have to make an announcement on Monday. The touchdown crew has placed Mike on IR.
Yeah, not the first time I've entered IR, but yeah, wow.
Brandon Cooks made a big stink about it. He's like, "This is effed up." You see Brandon Cooks wanting out, or is he going to be a team player and say, "All right, we'll just keep playing on with who we got"?
No, hell no. Brandon Cooks wants out, and I'll tell you why. Is the big thing is the Allen Robinson thing with Chicago right now too. Like you look at who Brandon Cooks played with, and the problem with that is Allen Robinson's looking at Justin Fields like this kid can sling it. Let him sling it.
Right.
You know, he's had Blake Bortles, Nick Foles, Andy Dalton, and Mitchell Trubisky. He's fed up. He wants out. Now you're looking at Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is a 1,000-yard wide receiver last year. Now you're looking at him and saying, so Deshaun's not suspended, and you're giving me this Mills kid. You're not making a trade. You're not giving me Tua. You're not giving me anything. Why would I want to be here? You know what I mean? Like, that's the main problem with me right now in the Texans is, to me, Brandon Cooks is on the wrong age of his career. He's not the youngest guy. So, you know, he's still producing. And at some point, production lacks when you don't have a quarterback. And it's going to start to show. And I think, you know, it's the same situation with Matthew Stafford. You know what I mean? Like, you can't keep having these subpar wide receivers because you're getting older and you need help. And not that Brandon needs help right now, but there will come a time where 3 years down the line, if you still haven't drafted a quarterback or replaced Deshaun Watson, you're screwed. And I don't think Brandon wants to stick around for that. I wouldn't want to stick around for that personally.
Coach, you think Cooks wants out?
Of course he wants out. They're losing. They're 1-6.
Right.
I mean, if you're looking at stat wise, he's good because they know he's going to get touched the ball every chance, but he really can't get out of his contract to, I think, 2024. So you got to ride with it regardless of the situation. But you got to realize something, man. Brandon Cooks been around. He was at the start with the Saints, went to the Patriots, got traded. Like, and then it got to the point where he got tired of getting traded. I think him and Mark Ingram, they had a bond because they did play in New Orleans together. Right. When he was there. So it was kind of one of those things and Mark Ingram is a good.
Cooks to New Orleans, coach?
Huh?
Cooks to New Orleans?
No.
3rd round pick. I'll do it right now.
No, they're not. No. He's not.
Send the boat. Send the whole boat.
Send him.
They don't have no money.
Send them no man, I'm gonna do Mike Thomas right now. Mike Thomas ain't doing nothing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for picks now. We were going to go ahead and actually go ahead and start picking our playoff hopefuls, best and worst team and everything. Hold on to that in next week because next week officially most of these most of these teams will have 8 games under their belt, so I'll officially be halfway point technically, even though there's 17 games, which I find stupid, but that's the way it is. But anyway. Let's that
was for Cowboys fans more than anything. They're just tired of the 8-8. They just wanted something. Even if it's
something.
Even if it's 8-9, they're like, all right, at least there's that.
I haven't gotten flagged for this music yet because I think we're talking over it. So I'm gonna do it again until they tell me. All right, let's go ahead and move it on. Just to go ahead and give the record straight. Coach, you are 54-30.
Damn. This is without the week 4 too, right?
Yeah, it's without the week 4 because somebody didn't write down the picks while I was on vacation.
Well, I thought it was going to be recorded.
I thought it was too. I am at 54-30. Mike, you're at 53-31. It is a tight race in the touchdown crew picks. Let's go ahead and go down to week number 8. Week 8, we got Cincinnati going against the Jets. Jets are 1-5, soon to be 1-6 because I'm taking Cincy.
Cincy, come on, man. Who's quarterback? Nick Foles? Not Nick Foles.
It's old man. Old man Paco.
Yeah, man, come on.
Hey, John, shut up. Go, coach. He says.
Hey, don't do that. There you go again. There you go again with the hating when someone give me credit.
I'm proud of you, coach.
Yeah. Suck up.
That's my dog. That's my boy.
5-2 going into Indianapolis to take on the Colts at 3-4. Which Tennessee team is going to show up? I think the one that loses. I'm taking Indy.
Man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one for sure.
But I need a pick.
Let me see something real quick.
There you go. Hey, why?
I'm gonna go Titans. I'm gonna go Titans just because in the preseason they killed them. I'll go Titans.
I don't care about no. He's talking about preseason. We in week 8.
Actually, it wasn't preseason. My apologies. It wasn't preseason. It was week 3. They killed them.
Coach, who do you pick?
What was the score?
25-16.
That's not a kill. Hey, sir, I'm going with you. I'm going with Indy because this is a must win because they got to get in the playoffs.
You're just trying to keep up with me. That's all it is.
No, sir.
Yeah.
Look, as you can see, I've been on it today. Look, I've been on it. I told you I was doing my work.
Coach is doing the homework just to make sure. Listen, I got to get back on top here.
I just told you that. I was like, these last 2 weeks I was playing the guessing game, but now it's like, okay, I got to look and see who's in, who's out.
That's what I've been doing.
All right. Rams and the non-Deshaun Watson Texans. This one is one of the Vegas picks I always have. I think it's a 16-point favorite by LA, but we don't do favorites. We're doing LA, and Mike is doing LA with his sign language.
LA.
LA, of course. LA Rams right across the board. No surprise there. This one is a big one. This is a division game in Cleveland. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. Cleveland Browns. I gotta go with OBJ and Baker with the Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't go with them. I go with Myles Garrett going up against Big Ben. And Clowney. So I'll give it to the Browns, but I don't think it's because of that Browns offense whatsoever.
I hear you.
I think Chubb is still out too. No.
I'd have to double check. But you know what? It doesn't really matter. Look who they got there. They put up like almost 150 yards. So I don't think they miss them. Coach.
Pittsburgh Steelers, let's go.
All right. There's my lead right there.
Let's go. Let's go.
It's a battle of toilet teams between Philadelphia and Detroit. Who wins this stink fest? Oh, man. You know something? It's in Detroit. And Detroit's one of those hemorrhoids that just never goes away completely. It really doesn't. And I know firsthand about that. They're a pain in my ass. And I like them. I like them winning against Philly.
I'm going to say Philly. I'm going to say Philly because of just what we've seen so far. We saw them play the Chiefs. We saw them play against the Tampa Bay Bucks offense, and they're hanging. Offensively, they're hanging. I think defensively they're an issue, but Jared Goff is an issue. So I definitely will say Philly.
Okay. Coach?
Hey, in situations like this, I always got to root for the Texas boy. So let's go Philly. Let's go Philly. That quarterback, he going to do his thing. Hurts going to run left. He going to run right. Then he's going to throw it every once in a while.
Right.
So,
I honestly do think too, Charles. I think this is the game that Devontae Smith goes off. We've been waiting all year for it. I think this is the game.
Who is with that beeping?
It's not me. It's actually not me.
Oh. All right, we go on to Chicago. Talking about Fat Mike is going against Chicago this time. I would have to disagree. I think Chicago wins.
Chicago loses.
Now who is that?
It's not.
I don't know. It's that buzzer saying warning, warning. Charles is coming for first place. Warning, warning.
I'm going 49ers because this is that one thing about it. That pass rush is going to be that pass rush, and I really truly think Jimmy Garoppolo. This is it. Mm-hmm. So I think he focused this. I think he focused this week and make up for the mud fest, and so I got 49ers beating.
I'm already seeing here we're only 6 games in, This is either going to be me going down into the toilet behind Mike,
hey,
or I'm skyrocketing ahead of Coach.
hey,
It's gonna be one of the two.
hey,
This is fun, though. This is really fun.
I told you, yes.
I enjoy this. Another game between mediocres. Atlanta at home going up against Carolina again. No McCaffrey, and you got that Ryan freaking Pitts combination going and working pretty good. Cordell Patterson getting more. I like Atlanta. I really do. I'm gonna go with Atlanta.
I'm taking Carolina. Gilmore coming in neutralizes a lot there. I think it's going to be nice.
Gilmore's going to be covering wide receivers, not going to be covering Pitts.
Right, but if you cover Ridley, all you got to focus on is Pitts.
Okay, what do you think, Coach?
I got to go with Carolina. One thing about it, Atlanta hasn't beat.
Come on, Coach, play safe with me. Play safe.
Hey, no, they're not playing safe. It's just Atlanta hasn't beat a contender. They beat the bottom of the barrels. At least Carolina again. I think Sam Darnold. This is a make or break.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know, Atlanta's actually played. You know, I was looking at their record the other day. It's not as bad as we all thought at the beginning of the year.
No,
but,
Atlanta's not as trash as we thought.
No,
it's just number one pick.
You know, they're not trash. They're more recycling, but they're not trash.
No. But we're gonna see because it's gonna start getting rough because you got the Saints, Cowboys, Patriots. You get the Jags, but then you got the Bucks again, 49ers, Bills, Saints. So that's why I said they're gonna have a gauntlet where it's like, okay, you got a lot of your little garbage wins right now. So let's
now it's like now where the big boys come in. That's what you're gonna do. Let's go, especially with one of the big boys in the AFC, Buffalo at home, going up against Tua, and he is my quarterback for the rest of the season, Tagovailoa. I didn't say his name right. I don't give a shit.
Turn the ball over, sir.
Whatever. I don't care. He's over. Buffalo wins.
Turn the ball over. I'm going with Buffalo because of turn the ball over and because of that issue with Tua. You can't tell me that you go into every game saying, I think Tua is going to finish this game. I don't think he's healthy. I never think he's healthy. And I'll simply go off of that. And I'll say that Josh Allen for the dub always.
Okay. Coach.
Oh, Buffalo, man. They just got off a bye. They should be good. Well rested.
Yep.
Joshy MVP Allen.
No, God, no.
No, I don't think. I haven't heard enough of Josh out of it yet.
Josh is.
He's good. Don't get me wrong.
I'm not going to get on that.
Oh, no, I don't think
That's another topic.
Another
topic. Another show. Another team that's coming off something else too. Their first home win. They're going all the way across the country to see the Chargers, the Patriots at the Chargers.
Give me that boy Herbert.
I'm going to wait for you guys to make your picks. I'm going to go last.
Give me that boy Herbert.
I'm gonna go Chargers. One thing about it, they just came off a bye. They just got their butts beat by the Baltimore. So then now that's kind of one of those things. They regroup. Everybody was saying the Chargers this, Chargers that. They look good. They was believing the hype.
I'm going with the Chargers too, only for one reason. J.C. Jackson talked trash. That's something they don't do. He was asked, "How are you going to go ahead and how big of a problem is it for the LA Chargers receiving?" It ain't a big problem.
That ain't no trash talk.
That's trash talk in New England. Oh, that ain't no problem.
That's because your wide receivers used to be bag boys at Jewel Osco before Bill walked in the store.
I'm taking the Chargers. I'm thinking smart, not with
Bill
heart.
said, "You know that 5'8" kid who plays wide receiver? Let's go get him. He's nice. He's a nice pickup."
Moving on into Seattle. Seattle's become a garbage team. Sadly, no Russell Wilson. They're going up against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's also a garbage team. I see Seattle winning this one, though, on the defensive technicality.
Well, without Russell Wilson, I got a new name for him, but I do take the Seattle Jets. I'm taking the Seattle Jets because without Wilson, they are awful. But I will take them over Urban Myers and his blow-up cows.
Go ahead, Coach.
Oh, Seahawks.
All right. All right, let's move over to Mile High, Denver. Broncos hosting the Washington Red football team. Luck still starting, or is Bridgewater's back, right?
Bridgewater's back.
Yeah, he's back.
I'll take Denver.
Denver's lost 4 straight.
Due for a win.
Yeah. Coach, what you got?
I see why Coach is in that top of the league. He always picks last.
That doesn't mean nothing.
Pick first.
Well, I picked the next one. I'm riding with the Broncos, man, and I've been riding with them these last 3 weeks. They let me down against the Cleveland game.
They have.
I'm gonna say Washington. That's where I'm gonna separate myself for the lead.
Like something's telling me go Washington, but I don't trust Washington's defense, and I sure don't trust that quarterback.
No.
For Washington.
I like Heineke, but yeah, I mean,
leave my boy alone.
Because who they play? Who did they play last week in the red zone?
hell if I know.
No, they played
Green Bay last week, didn't they?
They played Green Bay. You was inside the 5 4 times. It didn't score.
You can't go ahead and judge them on Green Bay. That's a top.
No. Charles, this is different when you're inside the 5. Matter of fact, Heineke had a touchdown and he failed.
Hey man,
I'm just saying he failed.
You and me, Coach, we're going Denver. Mike is doing Lone Wolf. He's going Washington.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride that Bronco one more time.
Keep bucking you off. You like pain, apparently. But I think we both like pain. Let's put that.
That's okay.
Next game, Tampa Bay going into New Orleans that face Jameis Winston and the Saints. Coach, who do you pick?
Tampa Bay.
No. Who do you pick?
Tampa Bay. No. TB12 LFG. Let's go.
I got.
That's what I'm waiting to hear. Mike.
Tampa.
I'll take Tampa. I'm going to play it safe. I was going to go New Orleans, but
hell no.
Don't play it safe. Come on, man.
Nah. Do you see this friggin' card? Do you see how many games I'm going against you already?
He's nervous.
I'm getting nervous. I really am. I'm getting nervous.
What he's saying is Alvin Kamara is not a good running back. That's what I'm hearing.
No, he's a good.
No, that's what I'm hearing from Charles.
Okay. All right, punks. I'm picking New Orleans.
He's a good slot receiver.
I'll take New Orleans. All right. You pushed me into it. I'm coming back at you next week if I lose.
Peer pressure.
It's peer pressure. Now, this one's going to be kind of confusing. Dallas, maybe with Dak Prescott, maybe without, going into Minnesota. Do we see Minnesota pulling off an upset on this one here on their home turf? Sunday Night Football. Mike.
I have Minnesota. I think they've been playing a lot better ball than in the beginning of the year. I think even if Dak is there, I think he's very limited because of it being literally the night before the decision. So I definitely do see it going down a very close game, regardless if Rush is in or not, because I like Pollard and Zeke. But I'm going to say Minnesota. I think what they're doing right now, especially with Dalvin Cook back, I think they could run up the board.
I say Dallas. I'm just going to pull it out because I think they just have way too many weapons. Coach.
I'm really. It's like, this is the honest truth. If Cooper's playing, I don't think they have a chance. But if I was Jerry, I wouldn't risk it.
Especially with what happened last year.
But I'm gonna go Dallas. And the only reason I say that, I just don't know. I can't trust my
Mike. This could be your week, man. You may slingshot from worst to first. I'm just saying, this could be your week.
Again, it's just one game, so every week could be my week. Y'all act like I'm at the bottom.
You are at the bottom.
Bro.
All right. Monday night game, Kansas City against the Giants. I got KC.
Oh, KC.
Yeah, I got KC. I don't even. Barkley and Galladay are still out. It's that ship's gone.
All right, let's move on to Thursday night football, week number 9. I'm telling you, this one had this last week tested my confidence. There, we saw Devontae. We saw injury come down that the Packers were going to be without. I was going to think about changing my pick. coach said, "Nah, can't change picks."
I can't change it.
That kind of cost the coach a little bit. But Thursday Night Football this time might be a little bit easier. It's the Jets and Colts. I go with Indy.
Yeah, I'm going Indy.
I'm going Colts.
All right. Just to give you guys a heads up, me and Coach, we disagree on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games.
What 5 of those, sir?
They are Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Philly, Chicago, San Fran, Atlanta, Carolina, and New Orleans, Tampa Bay. He's going to keep track of this. Watch. He's going to have his notepad right out there as the score.
Do that. What?
He's going to text me like, "Bitch, I got this one. Okay, you got this one, but I got this one."
Nah, those are the only 5 I care about. So those would be the only games I probably.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what you're going to be texting me on. You're like, "I got you. I got you." Mike and Coach actually got about the same as well. Yeah,
I think
5 games too.
one difference or so. Yeah.
What 5 Blake got?
He's got Tennessee. You got Indy. Mike's got Cleveland. You got Pitt. Mike's got Chicago.
I don't got Chicago.
He didn't pick Chicago.
You picked San Fran, right?
Yeah, he
got
he
4.
probably is thinking with his head, not his heart. I think Fat Mike changed him.
Yeah,
No, I felt that way just because of the fact that Khalil Mack's out. If he wasn't, I would give it to Chicago.
Mike said Washington over Denver. Coach, you said Denver, and Minnesota, Dallas. So we got some. There's definitely going to be some separation, we think, unless we split these.
Right.
But you know what? That's why they play the games.
Yes, sir.
That's why they play the games. Listen, everybody, it's been fun. Thank you again for Fat Mike to come in and join in our show. In the meantime, we are out of here. Enjoy the NFL. Enjoy the games. We'll see you next Sunday at 10 a.m. right here on the Touchdown Crew. See you guys.